Sure thing.
So is it safe to say that intimacy is closer to expectation?
No.
I think it's the opposite.
You think it's, so the opposite for me is tolerance. And I think that's what, in listening to you all, it's like that's what you, in so many words, I feel like you said intimacy is being able to say, I'm not just simply tolerating somebody. Because I think that's the time that we live in. We live with a lot of relationships where it's like associates or just people who you're like, oh, well, I'm going to just deal with this. I'm not going to actually engage you about what bothers me or what I want to improve.
Or be passive about it.
You don't even really care. Just like we were talking about the relationships where you let it go and it's like, I don't even have the energy to engage you anymore. I wish you well without ever knowing what I'm wishing.
Yeah.
So I think it's a difference in that point where we've normalized tolerance, where it's just like, I deal with my teachers, I deal with these peers, I deal with these situations and my coworkers and stuff. But when it comes down to actually caring, there's now an expectation that I will show up and ask or do the additional legwork that shouldn't necessarily be work, but it's like in our generation, it's like, when are you really engaging somebody about what's actually going on in their lives? Or like,
I don't think intimacy has much like control either, though. Like that's just my standpoint of it. It's like a very vulnerable, free being present type of thing. You know, like it's just like if something were to happen on the fly type of thing, going with the flow type shit, or I'm gonna meet you where you are type of thing. You know what I mean?
Expectation versus tolerance. I think expectation is when we get depression. That's when we get the most. That's when we're the saddest. If we expect anything from anyone, when you expect it, that's when you have disappointment because it was your vision of what was going to be versus what was authentic,
what's real.
And then the concept of tolerance is like, I'm just tolerating your truth. I don't really give a damn.
I'm not accepting.
I think that there's a difference between like expectation and tolerance, and there's like a virtue in the middle. And what's that virtue in the middle? Is it acceptance or is it understanding?
You know what? Because what I was going to say next is that expectation has different meanings, and so there can be, just like you're saying, there's an expectation of honesty, of transparency, of vulnerability between the two parties that are being intimate, but there's also like understood expectations of if I'm going to be trusted with a certain level of intimacy for you and vice versa, then there are expectations for behavior between the two of us. Right. You know what I'm saying? But what that actually leads me to is a different word, and that's agreements. And going back into my teacher bag, like we stopped, there was like a moment in the culture of teaching to where you stopped writing your expectations for class the first day and started settling on agreements between yourself and the students. Like, what is our relationship going to be? What do we agree on? What takes to have an effective and productive classroom environment? So when we are intimate with the person, I think because of the expectations we want, we have agreements. We don't settle on agreements. We demand agreements between the two parties so that we can engage one another in a way that's agreeable and allows us to be in our full and complete selves. But we've already agreed that even though this is who I am and this is how I can be sometimes, even in the case that I go too far, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to at least validate and apologize and stop short of what I'm feeling to give you space.
Yep.
Because that is the agreement we have in this relationship.